I'm going to spend a few minutes describing my dual 1080 SLI rig. I have an i7 49380 core process, i7 core processor. It's only running at 3.4 gigahertz, and I run at lower speed because I want more reliability, because I was actually bumping it up to 4.2 gigahertz because it is water cooled, but I was having some problems, so I bumped it down because I wanted a little bit more stability with some of the things I was doing. I have 32 gigabytes of RAM, so that's there, but mainly I'm talking about my graphics setup. So I actually I still do, I have 3 Dell UltraSharp U2412M 24-inch screens. I was running 3 of them with an NVidia 960. And that was fine. I was doing some gaming. I was not using surround. I was just doing standard gaming on one monitor, running at 1920 by 1200, not 1920 by 1080, because I tend to like the extra little bit more vertical. Because when you're on YouTube, you can see the 1080p videos with a little bit with the controls at the top and the bottom. So I like the 1200 vertical resolution. But I decided to upgrade. So the first thing I did was I bought an Acer Predator XB321HK. That's a 32-inch IPS UHD G-Sync monitor that runs at a resolution of 3840 by 2160. So it's a much bigger monitor. My 960 was having a hard time doing anything with it because unless I run lower resolution, because that really is underpowered. But at the same time I bought, and I talked a little bit about ordering from NVidia, and I had some real problems. But anyway, I ordered 2 EVGA GeForce GTX 1080 FTW gaming cards. So they didn't arrive the same day. The first one arrived, I put it in, and I was amazed. Here was this card running my processor, and I was getting pretty good performance. I was running Fallout 4 and some Skyrim, and I was getting reasonable performance. I'm really not sure. I wasn't really watching the frame rate, but I didn't really notice any stutters or anything like that. At 4K, the 3840 by 2160. But I had bought 2 cards because I wanted to make sure, and I had the little bit of cash to do that. So I was running fine at my temperature. I tend to watch my temperature in my box because I've had some history of problems with temperature years ago. So I was running about at about 42 C in idle. And I thought, okay, great. And I put the 2 cards in, and I'm looking at with SLI, and the average temperature sitting at idle had bumped up to 60 C at idle, both cards. One card was running 10 degrees hotter than the other card. And the card that was running hotter is the one where all 3 displays are there. Now here's a complaint about SLI. The SLI, you've got lots of now spots to plug monitors in, but you can only plug monitors in to the first card. You can't plug monitors into the first and second card, at least not with the 1080s, because I was looking through that. So my primary display, what I wanted to do was I wanted to sort of balance the load and put the primary display running the big 32-inch 4K monitor and put the other 2 monitors on the other card, but you can't do that with SLI. So I ended up putting all the cards in, and the card where that is doing all driving all the displays is always running hotter. It's always running from 1 degree to up to 10 degrees Celsius difference in temperature, and that's a little bit bothersome. And I was running really high, so I was looking at what to do about that. And I suspected, because with one card it was running much lower temperature, I suspect it was airflow. So I have a Coolmaster half 922 box, and it has a 200 millimeter fan on the side panel. And so I decided to upgrade that to, I bought 2 Coolmaster JetFlo 120 POM bearing fans, because they're real fire breathers. They will really put a lot of cooling in there. So I put those into the box and watching the temperatures, and it does have a significant difference to that. Now I needed to control them, so I bought a NZXT Sentry 3.5 inch touchscreen fan controller. Now this has some interesting things, so let me show you. I'm going to put up 2 videos side by side showing you the startup, and they're not exactly synced in timing. I'll see if I can get that working with this video, but from one focuses on the screens and one focuses on that, and you'll hear the jet roar of these fans. Now what happens is that I'm still not particularly happy with the temperatures, and let me explain. If I bump the fans up to 100%, it sounds like a jet engine, and it's quite noisy compared to what it used to be, but it keeps the fans quite cool. Now I actually fired up that when I put the fans on 50%, there's a little bit of noise you can hear, and you'll hear that in the video, and that's a bit annoying, but the system keeps actually reasonably cool. I ran the Haven benchmark. That's that's the Haven 4 benchmark on my 4K monitor at the most extreme settings that I can set it to, and I'm getting 47 frames on the rating is 47 frames per second out of the SLI configuration, which is quite impressive. And the core temperatures with the new fans, one of the boards, the board number 2, gets to 73 degrees, and board number 1 gets to 80. It doesn't go to 83 or 82. It never goes above 80. It stays at 80. So it's not, supposedly 82, 83 is the magic number for 1080 cards where it starts to throttle back. It never gets there. It runs the Haven benchmark perfectly fine without that, with never hitting the benchmark. Now that's my interpretation, and I'm not an expert at overclocking and doing all that, but I just bought the cards and I thought what I would say. So I was running there. So when I'm at idle now, with the fans at 50%, the idle temperature gets up to 50 degrees, which is a little bothersome because it should be a little bit lower than that, but it's right around the one card is at 50 and the other card is at 52. And that's letting it run for a couple of hours. I've seen that. I've tested that running for 52 at idle. If I bump it up to 30%, I mean to 60%, then the temperatures start dropping, and it gets down in about 48, which is where I was originally expecting it to be. But that's a little bit noisier than I like, so I will take the little bit of temperature for a little bit more quietness, because it's relatively quiet. It's not perfectly quiet, but it's relatively quiet. So I'm going to try and set this up and see if I can get these 2 videos in sync, showing boot. And it's from the time I push the start button to the time the screen is up. So they're about, I think they're about 40 seconds each. So it'll show you the boot. And what's fun is to watch the NZXT Sentry fan, and but you'll hear the sound of the two fans. If you like my video, press the thumbs up button. I'd appreciate that. Or if this interests you, you can always subscribe to my channel. There's a button right above. I look forward to hearing some comments. Tell me what you think about this, and I'll try and reply, and we can see if I'll do some more of these. Thank you.